In November 2011, Latoya Ammons, her mother Rosa Campbell, and their 3 children moved into a house in Gary, Indiana. Shortly after moving in, however, strange and disturbing things began to happen in the house. The first incident began when a dense swarm of flies appeared at the back door of the house. These flies appeared in the middle of winter, something that should not normally happen at that time of year, and despite constant cleaning, the flies returned again and again. If you liked this beautiful video, please do not forget to like the video. By liking the video, you will give the biggest support by subscribing to the channel. Most importantly, please indicate all your criticisms, good or bad, and your thoughts about the video in the comments. You can turn on notifications to be aware of videos before anyone else. Thank you very much for your support. A few weeks after moving in, the Ammons family began to experience disturbing events in the house. At first, there were strange noises, footsteps, doors opening and closing on their own, and strange noises coming from the basement. Then things became increasingly frightening and threatening. The Ammons family claimed to have seen dark shadows and ghostly figures inside the house. These shadows became more pronounced, especially at night, and terrorized family members. Latoya's children began to behave increasingly strangely. The younger children in particular became dizzy and moved uncontrollably. On one occasion, after one of the children fell to the floor and fainted, another was lifted into the air in the middle of the room and began to move unconsciously. The children's mental state was deteriorating rapidly, and family members began to experience physical ailments as they continued to stay in the house. Latoya's children showed symptoms such as fainting spells, loss of consciousness, and abnormal bursts of strength. Ammons and her mother also began to experience symptoms such as headaches, nausea, and weakness. On one occasion, Ammons' 12-year-old daughter fainted and her eyes rolled back in her head immediately after a visit to the house. While the child was unconscious, her mother and grandmother claimed that she had been dragged through the air inside the house. Perhaps one of the most horrifying incidents was one observed and reported by hospital staff. In front of social workers and medical staff, Latoya's 9-year-old son suddenly fainted and, while unconscious, stood up, then put his back against the wall, climbed the wall upside down, and fell to the floor. This was also recorded by nurses and social workers at the hospital and later entered into official reports. Some of the children were seen to exhibit physical strength far beyond what they should normally have. For example, when a young child suddenly attacked his mother or another family member, several adults were recorded struggling to control him. The children's eyes were rolled back or they appeared unconscious during such behavior. As the events escalated, the Ammons family sought help from local churches and spiritual leaders. The family met with several pastors and performed various spiritual rituals in the house. The family contacted a psychic who told them that there were more than 200 demonic entities in the basement of the house and that they were disturbing the family members. At the medium's suggestion, Latoya Ammons and her mother, Rosa Campbell, anointed every corner of the house with holy oil and prayed. However, these efforts were fruitless and the paranormal events continued. As the situation worsened, the Ammons family contacted social services and the police. When the authorities arrived at the house to investigate, they had some strange experiences. For example, one police officer said he felt something strange in the basement and was suddenly hit by a cold draft. Another officer noticed a strange and unknown liquid seeping through the walls. In 2012, the Ammons family situation came to the attention of local government officials. In particular, due to the unusual seizures and severe behavioral changes experienced by the children, the Indiana Department of Social Services intervened and temporarily placed the children under protective custody. Authorities believed that the conditions in the children's home could put them in danger. The children were taken to the hospital, where they underwent a series of medical and psychological evaluations. However, doctors and psychologists said there was no medical or psychological explanation for the children's behavior. Hospital staff also witnessed the children's abnormal and inexplicable behavior. In particular, one child, while completely unconscious, suddenly climbed a wall and stood upside down, an event observed and documented by medical staff. After these events, the family decided to seek help from the Catholic Church. Fr. Michael Magina was assigned to investigate the incident. After experiencing a series of events that confirmed paranormal activity in the home, Father Magina organized a series of exorcisms for the Ammons and their children. During this process, Father Magina and a group of volunteers performed 3 exorcisms at the Ammons family home. During the ceremonies, Latoya Ammons claimed that she lost control of her body and felt possessed by an entity. The priests and others present also reported experiencing a series of anomalous events in the house. These included cold waves, unexpected shadows, shifting objects, and disturbing noises. After a series of exorcisms, events slowly began to subside. The Ammons family eventually decided to leave the house, and the events came to an end. In 2012, the Ammons regained custody of their children and moved to another city. The house itself was later purchased by Zach Bagans, a paranormal investigator and television personality. Bagans investigated the house in detail and produced a documentary documenting the paranormal events that took place in the house. In 2016, however, Bagans demolished the house and razed it to the ground. The story of the demonic house of Latoya Ammons and her family has generated a great deal of interest and discussion, both in the media and among the public. It has sparked interest in exorcism rituals and paranormal investigations, and has been the subject of a number of documentaries, articles, and news programs. The destruction of the house in Zach Bagans' documentary made the event even more mysterious and made the story an enduring phenomenon in popular culture. It was considered a powerful example for those who believe in the paranormal, and a case for the scientific and skeptical communities to argue that such events must be based on logical explanations. The Ammons family has since stated that they live a more peaceful life and that the paranormal phenomena have ceased, but the story remains a subject of curiosity and debate for many. If you liked this beautiful video, please do not forget to like the video. By liking the video, you will give the biggest support by subscribing to the channel. Most importantly, please indicate all your criticisms, good or bad, and your thoughts about the video in the comments. You can turn on notifications to be aware of videos before anyone else. Thank you very, very much for your support.